Onion skinning is the concept of being able to see your previous and or following frames at the same time as the frame you're working on to allow you to reference your other frames as you draw. So let's cut this onion skin open and let's get started. To begin, what is the difference between the advanced onion skin and the standard onion skin modes? We'll get into the functionality later, but in short, the standard onion skin mode is probably the easiest to get started with, as it has handles that you can adjust, like so. The advanced onion skin mode has a lot more functionality with filtering what frames you are specifically showing, and is great for if you come from a traditional animation background. It comes down to flexibility, but always use a tool that will get you a result the fastest and easiest. So this is an animation I did for an app, link in the description if you want to download. Let's get started with the standard onion skin mode. Hold down this button in the bottom left and select Show Onion Skin. This is your standard onion skin mode, which has your onion skin handles next to your playhead within the timeline that you can hold down and drag out. As you can see, repeated frames still show, so if a frame is held for a certain length of time, it will start to get darker the more the brackets are extended. So as you can see, as I drag that out, if it's one frame, it's quite light, and as I drag it out, it gets darker. If you want to adjust your onion skin opacity, you can do it in a few different ways. Within your camera view, you have this button that is called Top Light. If you don't see this, you will need to right click in the toolbar area and select Camera View. This Top Light setting contains your onion skin opacity and a few different settings. Another way to adjust it is within the onion skin window itself. So to show this, go Windows, Onion Skin. And you can see this is the onion skin window. With the standard onion skin mode, you should see almost everything is disabled. But this middle slider also allows you to adjust the opacity even in the standard mode. In fact, you can see as I adjust the opacity in the top light view mode, it also changes the opacity within the onion skin window. They're linked settings. Within this onion skin window, we can also adjust how the onion skins are shown. Within this top left hamburger menu, we have three options. Original colours, which does as it says, it shows the onion skin via the original colours. You'll probably either have to adjust the opacity or go to the hamburger menu again and apply a colour wash. Just because it's a little garish otherwise, it's quite difficult to tell what's going on if you have it at full opacity. We also have the coloured mode, which uses the colours that you have set within this window. Coloured outline, which shows the vector lines as outlines in the colour selected within this window. Since it uses the vector outline, brush strokes and pencil strokes show differently. You can see brush strokes show the fill, pencil line just shows the inner line. You can set the colours of the onion skin on the coloured and coloured outline modes via these buttons here. Just double click and it will give you a dialog box that you can edit. There's also additional functionality with other layers. If you need to reference previous frames on another layer, while still drawing on our current layer, we can activate the onion skin to show for other layers as well. Within the timeline, click the onion skin button next to our layer. In the camera view, it will show you all of the layers which you've set the onion skin mode on for. Other layers will just show normally. So as you can see here, I can see the onion skin on both the top layer and the bottom layer. Not the point of this tutorial, but a helpful button is this one in the bottom left called Light Table to make other layers kind of transparent so you can focus on what you're drawing. Quite helpful. If you want to see other onion skin layers within the drawing view, you will first need to select the layers with the onion skin as before, then click the Show Light Table button, which is found within the drawing view toolbar. This option shows the other layers within the drawing view. Finally, you will need to click the Enable Onion Skin for Other Elements option, which is I've found in the onion skin window, under the hamburger menu, Enable Onion Skin for Other Elements, or within the onion skin toolbar within the drawing view. This will show the other layers selected within the drawing view with the onion skin. There's a bunch of helpful keyboard shortcuts along with hidden toolbar buttons that you can add to really get the most out of the onion skin. Keyboard shortcuts include Alt-O to enable or disable the onion skin, Shift-S to add selected layers to the onion skin, which also enables the onion skin if it's disabled. There are also keyboard shortcuts not enabled by default, such as onion skin add 1 next previous and onion skin reduce 1 next previous. They aren't configured by default, but you can add your own keyboard shortcuts too. Go Harmony Premium, keyboard shortcuts, and they're all in here. These are your keyboard shortcuts, so take a look here and see what tickles your fancy, and you can add your own keyboard shortcuts if you would like. Additional UI buttons can also be added by right-clicking on the toolbar and selecting Customize. This allows you to add buttons that match the keyboard shortcuts. By default, the camera view toolbar has 4 different options, but we can also have these other options too. Okay, so now we get onto the advanced onion skin. Either select this top middle button within the onion skin window, advanced onion skin, or you can hold the mouse button down on the bottom left onion skin button and select show advanced onion skin. You'll notice this now removes your ability to use onion skin handles and also disables the ability to use the add, remove, previous, next drawing buttons within your toolbars. You'll have to use the onion skin window. To select which frames are shown, you can click on each button within the top of the onion skin window. Previous frames are controlled on the left, while next frames are controlled on the right. The number tells you how many frames ahead or behind it's showing. You don't necessarily have to have all the frames on, you can enable and disable individual frames. You can click and drag across the frames to change many at once. The middle slider does the same as the standard onion skin. We can adjust the opacity. We can also adjust the opacity for each individual frame. By default, the sliders are linked. If they're linked, we can adjust the first and the last frame, and then set one point in between that the rest will follow to create like a pseudo curve. If you want to adjust frames individually, select the hamburger menu and then disable linked sliders. This will allow you to adjust them individually. We can adjust how the advanced onion skin selects the frames to show via this option here. By frames will work by sampling the frames that are ahead and behind via the numbers across the top. So previous 1 is the frame before the playhead, next 5 is 5 frames ahead of the playhead. By drawings, by contrast, ignores where the frames are shown in the timeline and instead only shows the drawing that's before and after. This is irrespective of exposure, meaning that if you have a drawing with one really long exposure, this will only show once and only take up one button. So if I'm here on the timeline, sampling 3 frames behind will sample these frames in particular. This option really gives us some flexibility. Within Harmony, you can mark drawings as key drawings, breakdowns, and in-betweens, and also mark them as retakes. To do this, you either right-click the drawing in the timeline, Drawings, Mark Drawing As, and select the type. Within the X sheet, it's similar. You right-click and go Mark Drawing As and select the type, or you can use the Mark Drawing toolbar, which will give you these options as well. So as you can see, we are here on the timeline, we have it set to by drawing, and we're 1 frame behind it, so it's showing the previous drawing, which is this one. If you want to show the last key drawing, I have this first frame set. So 1 drawing back, which is a key drawing, will show that first frame. If you want to also include breakdowns into that, so 1 drawing back will instead show this one, we can select breakdowns as well, and it will show that frame. If I select 2, you can see it will show that drawing here, because it's a breakdown, and it will also show this frame here because it's a key drawing. It will ignore all the other drawings in between. This option really gives us some flexibility. If you're having trouble wrapping your head around this, imagine you were working traditionally. If you want to see the last key drawing, you don't have to put every other piece of paper on beforehand, you can just place that single key drawing on. That's why the Advanced Onion Skin gives you the ability to do so. This option also works within both the Standard and the Advanced Onion Skin modes. However, keep in mind that clicking one of those drawing types to filter will set the drop down here to by drawings. This means that for the standard onion skin mode, it's not great. I'll go into more detail on this in a bit. We can also edit multiple frames via the onion skin options. There's a few options here. The animate current frame button is specifically in regards to the transform tool. If we hold this down and change it to animate onion skin range, it will apply any changes to that entire region. If you have no keyframes there already, it will create keyframes at the start and end. If you have keyframes there already, it will keep the keyframes in place and adjust the transform as required. In some tools, such as the selection tool, we have an option to apply to onion skin range as well. Within the selection tool, it will allow you to select the actual drawing data itself between the onion skin range and edit the drawing data itself. So now if I put that back, disable the onion skin, the drawing data has been changed to a lot of the selection tools like select, select by colour and cutter. Also remember that the shift and trace tool exists and that can help with onion skinning. This isn't a tutorial on shift and trace, but it's extremely helpful for more advanced animations. Finally, in regards to the standard onion skin mode, if you set this drop down to by drawings and are on the standard onion skin mode, it will no longer show you the handles to modify your onion skin via. You can still use your buttons within the camera view or the drawing view toolbars to be able to show and hide the previous frames. If you ever see your handles disappear, make sure to check this option first. This will show and hide the handles if you're on the traditional onion skin mode. That being said, it is an option you can use. I would recommend just using it in the advanced onion skin, because that gives you visual feedback as to what frames are being shown, but you can technically use it within the standard onion skin mode with it set to by drawings. It's not ideal because it gives no visual feedback to how many frames are actually selected, but you could do it. And that's the onion skin. I've tried to cover it in as much detail as possible, so this can be the ultimate onion skin tutorial. If you want to leave any more tips and tricks in the comments, then definitely do. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.